Verse 2. Wherefore, when I came, was there no man? When I called, was there none to answer? Is my hand shortened at all that it cannot redeem? So the Most High said, does the Most High have his little T-Rex arms where he can't pull you out of captivity? No. Is my hand shortened at all that it cannot redeem? Or have I no power to deliver? Behold, at my rebuke I dry up the sea. So the Most High can dry up the sea at his rebuke. I make the rivers a wilderness. Their fish stinketh before, because there is no water, and dieth for thirst. So let's go back over to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3 and verse 9. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3 and verse 9. And it came to pass through the lightness of her whoredoms that she defiled the land and committed adultery with stones and with stocks. What is that stone? That's that cobblestone in Mecca that you Muslims follow. That you so-called silly Israelites want to go to a damn rock in Mecca saying that's the temple of Abraham and walk around it and kiss it. Right? Put your lips on that nasty stone up in the Mecca, right? And kissing it. That's that stone. What's going on, brother? Have you ever been cheated on, brother? You been cheated on? How did it feel? It didn't feel good, right? But guess what? I'm reading right here that the Most High says that we committed adultery with stones and with wood. Listen to this right here, brother. It says, and committed adultery with stones and with stocks. What is that stock? That's that cross. That's that cross that a lot of y'all are going to go worship on Easter Sunday. When Easter is your representative worshiping the god, the pagan god of Ishtar. That's who you are worshiping when you celebrate Easter. Because guess what? Let me ask you a quick question. Can a bunny lay an egg? Bunnies don't lay eggs. So why do people celebrate Easter? Why do people celebrate Easter when a bunny don't lay no egg? It don't make no sense, right? So, check it out. Let's go to Jeremiah chapter 2 and verse 27. Saying to a stock, right? You're saying to that piece of wood, thou art my father, and to a stone, thou hast brought me forth. For they have turned their back unto me, and not their face. But in the time of their trouble, they will say, arise and save us. So in our time of trouble, the Most High is going to forget about us. You see this sign right here, brother? Do you see yourself on the sign right here? Just give me 1 second. 1 second for the words of the Lord. 1 second. Come here, brother. Un momento. 1 second. Huh? Well, you come on, sister. Come here. 1 second. 1 second. I just want to show y'all something real quick. This is very important. Do you see yourself on this sign right here at all?
It's okay. For me it's Cristiano.
You're Christiana?
Yes.
Well, I just want to show you something real quick.
Yes,
do you see yourself on this sign at all?
For me, okay. It's okay.
Will you be a so-called Mexican?
Oh, no, people.
Peru. So guess what? You are one of God's chosen people.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you are one of God's chosen people. So if you're from Peru, you will be an Israelite for one of these various tribes right here, which means you are one of God's chosen people, right? And that's what I'm teaching our people right now. So this is very, very important. Can I ask you a quick question real quick? Do you eat al pastor? You eat al pastor? You can't eat al pastor because this is why we went into slavery. This is why we have been destroyed as a people for breaking the Most High's law, statutes, and commandments. Let me show you something out of the Bible. Do you read the Bible? A little bit? Okay, let me show you something real quick, sister. One second.
It's okay for me, the iglesia, for me, the pastor.
No, it's not okay for you to eat al pastor. Let me show you something. This is the book of Leviticus chapter 11 and verse 7. It says, and the swine, though he divide the hoof, so a swine is el pastor, and be cloven footed, yet he cheweth not the cud. He is unclean to you. So you see that? He's unclean to you.
Wow. Okay.
Verse 8, of their flesh shall ye not eat, and their carcass shall ye not touch. They are unclean to you. So you cannot eat el pastor anymore because the Most High said it. He said this. Now let me show you something real quick. Is this Jesus Christos? Who is this man right here? Who is this man? Is this Jesus Christos? Because Jesus Christos no blanco. Jesus Christos el negro in Biblio. Let me show you. Let me show you. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 1. And we're going to go to verse 13. And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks, verse 13, one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. So he had a long garment on, right? Verse 14, his head and his hairs were white like wool. Now when you look at wool, right, what's the texture of wool? Wool is like this, like Negro's hair. It's white in color and woolly in texture, right? Let me read on. It says, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. His eyes are blue. It says Christ had red eyes because his first miracle was what? Turning water into wine. That's why he had red eyes. Listen to this, sister. And his feet like unto fine brass. Now what color is brass? What color is brass? You know what color brass is? Brass is brown. Brass? Like brass will be this color right here, sister. Look at this, sister.
Okay.
I don't have, sister, real quick. So he has brass feet. I'm sorry, I don't have it. Yeah, I don't have it.
Hello? Richard.
Let's go back to the word. So let's go back to the word. It's Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 9. Salakia, verse 10. And yet for all this, her treacherous sister Judah, you so-called blacks, you so-called Haitians, you so-called Jamaicans, right? Hath not turned it to me with her whole heart, but fiendly saith Yahweh, the Lord. Verse 11. And the Lord said unto me, the backsliding Israel hath justified herself more than treacherous Judah. So you see that? Let's jump down to verse 14. This is Jeremiah chapter 3 and verse 14. Turn, O backsliding children, saith the Lord, for I am married unto you, and I will take you one of a city and 2 of a family. So what does that mean? That means only few are going to make it. The Most High says he's going to take us one of a city. This is a big city. San Diego is a big city. That means only a few of y'all are going to be saved from ultimate destruction, from the nukes that are coming from Russia, right? It says it says one of a city and 2 of a family. So a household, meaning only a few in that household is going to be saved when all hell breaks loose. Don't you want to be saved from when all hell breaks loose? How do we be saved? It's by keeping the faith and keeping the commandments of the Most High, right? It says, and I will bring you to Zion. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 54. This is the book of Isaiah. Book of Isaiah chapter 54. And we'll start at verse 5. For the maker is thine husband. So you see that? The maker, which is the Lord, that's the husband over you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. It says, for the maker is thine husband. The Lord of hosts is his name, and thy Redeemer, the Holy One of Israel. The power of the whole earth shall he be called. For the Lord hath called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we are that woman. We are the wife of the Most High. But we have committed adultery against the Most High. We have been forsaken by the Most High. And this is why we must return today and not wait any longer. Not sit around and wait any longer, right? Because judgment is at hand. It says, for the Lord hath called thee as a woman forsaken and grieved in spirit, and a wife of youth, when thou hast refused, saith thy power. Verse 7, for a small moment have I forsaken thee, but with great mercies will I gather thee. So the Most High said, I've forsaken you for a little moment. Because we got to remember, 1,000 years is as one day to the Lord. 1,000 years is as one day to the Lord. So So the Most High has only forsaken us for a little while. The Most High is ready to take us back. But are we ready to return back to the Most High? It says, verse 8, in a little wrath I hid my face from thee for a moment, but with everlasting kindness will I have mercy on thee, saith the Lord thy Redeemer. So our Lord, the Most High, will have mercy on us. Let's go back to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 3 and verse 15. And I will give you pastors according to mine heart. So those pork chop eating pastors that you might probably go see on Easter Sunday, the only time y'all ever go to church, he's not it. The pastors are the brothers across this entire world that are preaching, thus saith the Lord, telling you that you are a Hebrew Israelite, telling that you need to come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. The ones that shaking their hands, telling you to come out of your sin. It says, and I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with the knowledge and understanding. Right? So the Most High said he's going to send us pastors that's going to feed us with his knowledge and with his understanding. And I will give you pastors according to my heart, which shall feed you with knowledge and understanding. So right now you're getting knowledge and you're getting understanding. Something that you will not get in the Christian church. Something that you won't get at the mosque. You get a knowledge and understanding of who you are, that you are God's chosen people. Let's go to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 23. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 23. Let's see how graphic the Most High gets about his chosen people. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 23, and we're going to start at verse 2. Son of man, there were two women, the daughters of one mother. So we had two women, and through the Spirit, I believe that this was a single mother, a single Israelite mother with two daughters. Let's see what happened. And they committed whoredoms in Egypt. So they were a whore in Egypt. America is your modern day Egypt. When you look on the back of a dollar bill, you see a pyramid representing our bondage in Egypt, which is now we have our bondage here in America. America is modern day Egypt, right? It says, and they committed whoredoms in Egypt. They committed whoredoms in their youth. So you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we have been little whores since we were young, since we were knee-high to a grasshopper. What does this mean? This means it's time for us to wake up. What's going on, brother? Have you ever been cheated on before?
Yeah.
You've been cheated on? How did it feel? It don't feel good. Well, guess what? We have cheated on the Most High.
Yeah.
And guess what? It don't feel good to him.
It don't.
And we need to come back in these last days and stop cheating on the Most High. That's what I'm reading right now. So take a look at the sign right here, brother. Do you see yourself on the sign?
Yeah.
Which one would you be? Black, so-called black?
Yeah.
Black American? So guess what? You will be an Israelite from the tribe of Judah. And guess who else came from Judah? Jesus Christ. He came from the tribe of Judah. So let me show you something real quick. This is the book of Deuteronomy. I'm gonna give you, this is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. So we cheated on the Most High. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. So now when you look at this sign right here, the reason why our people were hung, the reason why Emmett Till got his face stumped in, to this day, this lady is still alive that actually said that he whistled, and she has not been brought to justice. Every single year, these so-called white boys go to his gravesite and they shoot it up with AK-47s and shotgun, shoot up his gravesite. This is a curse. This man was whipped so many times they had to take pictures of it. Our babies were made alligator belts, alligator bait. They made belts out of our children. These are curses that were put upon us. These were postcards that they took of us as a people, and they sent them across to their family members and stuff like that. This happened to us as a people. Let me read on right here. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28.
Hey, I would like to read some more. I gotta get on.
Go, okay, brother.
But I know I see you down here every once in a while. When I'm by myself, I'm gonna let them. Hey, how you doing?
Let me give you so what's going on, young chief? So this, check this out here. If you're on YouTube, my website is called Disciples of Yahushua. Check us out on YouTube. I have all the teachings on there and what we need to do preparing these last days.
Oh, I got you.
Okay, brother. You stay safe.
You too.
All right, brother. So this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 23, and verse 3. And they committed whoredoms in Egypt. They committed whoredoms in their youth. So you see that? These two girls were little whores in their youth, little fast asses, right? There were their breasts pressed, and they bruised the teeth of their virginity. These young girls, they love having their breasts fondled. That's us. We love being fondled and seduced into all these ideologies and these philosophies and stuff like that, right? The Most High is talking about us. Let's read on. And the names of them were Aholah, the elder, and Aholabah, her sister. And they were mine. And they bear sons and daughters. So the Most High said, these two were my wives. These two sisters were my wives, right? But guess what? Let's see what happened. It says, and they bear sons and daughters. Thus were their names. Samaria is Aholah, which is the northern kingdom. You so-called Hispanics and Native Americans. And Jerusalem, which is Aholabah, which is you so-called Judites, you so-called Jamaicans, you so-called blacks, West Indians, and Haitians, right? Northern and southern kingdom. Verse 5, and Aholah played the harlot when she was mine. Guess what? We played a little whore when we belonged to the Most High. That's what the Most High is saying. It says, when she was mine, and she doted on her lovers, on the Assyrians, her neighbors. Guess what she did? You see what she did? She started admiring other men. She started looking at other men. The same thing we do. We start looking at these little other philosophies, kind of dibbling and dabbling here and there. What's going on, brother? All right. Slave? Yes, you were a slave. You see yourself on the sign, brother? Huh? I can't hear you. All right, brother. I don't know what you got going on, brother, but well, guess what? The Most High is beating us up because we are not keeping His laws, His statutes, and commandments. So the Most High is kicking our ass. Yeah. What's that?
Yeah, brother.
All right, brother. I'll praise to the Most High. I'll praise to the Most High, brother. Yeah, you got the. You been drinking, brother? You don't drink? You been smoking? Well, look, brother. We do, and right now, since we got a short time on this planet. Since we got a short time on this planet, we got to get our mind right, brother. Look, brother, since we got a short time on this planet, we got to get our mind right, brother. Give me a second. We're gonna try to get what side we going? You don't like these?
What they can do is put some crayons in them, put some crayons in their butt, and then blow it up. After second grade, you should learn about crayons. Third grade, you should learn how to get some girlfriend. You should write it on the fire. Turn out fine doors. If you're a color back, you're just gonna blow your people like 90%.
All right, brother. Can you get that stuff up real quick, brother? We don't want to obstruct the way how we walk.
I got it.
All right, brother. All right, brother. Well, kind of just stand on the side right here. Stand right here, brother. It's kind of listen. Okay?
All not really.
All right, let's kind of listen right here, brother.
I don't like really.
So this is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 23, and verse 5. It says, "And Aholah played the harlot when she was mine, and she doted on her lovers, on the Assyrians, her neighbors." So you see that? We belong to the Most High, right? And guess what we did? We started looking, looking on our back, right? Looking at other men, looking at other idols and stuff like that. That's what we did as a people. This is an allegory, brother. This is allegory. Other men, yes, our people, other men meaning other idols. Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, drugs, alcohol. These are all things that we looked after instead of the Most High because we wanted that more than to please our God.
You guys allowed to do like karate and like anything?
All right, but just listen, bro. Listen, bro. Just listen, bro. Verse 6. Verse 6. Which were clothed with blue captains and rulers, all of them desirable young men, horsemen riding upon horses. So what does that mean? These young girls, right? They desired to look at these men who were renowned, who were well known, who had nice clothing on their wearing nice clothing, and they had nice garments on. This is what our people desire. And what is that today? That's these religions, these doctrines. Verse 7. Thus she committed her whoredom with them, with all them that were the chosen men of Assyria. So our people, we don't want this to bottom. We want to cheat on the Most High with the top of the top. We want to go to the pinnacle of it. We want to be the ultimate whores, the ultimate prostitutes.
What?
That's what the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans want to be, right? Assyria, and with all on whom she doted, with all their idols she defiled herself. That's what we're doing right now. We're defiling ourselves with all these abominable idols. Verse 8, neither left she her whoredom brought from Egypt. So guess what? She never left that spirit of being a whore. So guess what? We never left that spirit of prostitution. We never left it in Egypt. We brought it with us here to America, the new Egypt. Neither left she her whoredoms brought from Egypt, for in her youth they lay with her, and they bruised the breast of her virginity, and poured her whoredoms upon her. You see that? So we never stopped being a whore from when we were younger, when we were little. We never stopped it. We never left off with it. Verse 9. Wherefore I have delivered her into the hand of her lovers, into the hand of the Assyrians, upon whom she doted. So the Most High says, since you love all these other nations, since you love all these other religions, He has completely given us. So the Most High says, since you love these other nationalities, so-called white men the most, y'all love these so-called Asians, so-called Japanese, the so-called religions and whatnot, these holidays, these hell days, since you love them so much, the Most High has given us over to them as a people. Wherefore I have delivered her into the hand of her lovers, into the hand of the Assyrians, upon whom she died. Verse 10. These delivered her nakedness, Salakia. These discovered her nakedness. They took her sons and her daughters and slew her with the sword. And she became famous among women. What does this mean? The Most High put us in slavery for all our transgressions, for us breaking the law, statutes, commandments. The Most High put us into captivity for this. These discovered her nakedness. They took her sons and her daughters and slew her with the sword. And she became famous among women, for they had executed judgment upon her. So when you look at this, the so-called black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, we are world known for our captivity, for being the slaves, for coming here on cargo slave ships. We are world known across all nationalities for us as a group of people that went into slavery by ships. Name one other group of people that went into slavery by ships. This is in the Bible. Verse 11. And when her sister Holibah saw this, she was more corrupt in her inordinate love than she, and in her whoredom more than her sister in her whoredom. So when Judah, you so-called blacks, you so-called Haitians, you so-called Jamaicans, we have become more corrupt than the Northern Kingdom, who you so-called Native American Indians and you so-called Mexicans, Hispanics. We have become more corrupt than y'all. Verse 11. And when her sister Holibah saw this, she was more corrupt in her inordinate love than she, and in her whoredoms more than her sister in her whoredoms. Verse 12. She dotted upon the Assyrians, her neighbors, captains and rulers, clothed most gorgeously, horsemen riding upon horses, all of men, desirable young men. So you see that? We desire other nationalities other than our own. We hate each other. We hate each other as a people, but we love everybody else. Brothers can't even speak to you anymore. Brothers don't ask you how you're doing anymore. Brothers don't care about your whereabouts anymore. We don't care for each other as a people no more. But we do care about what happens to Mr. White Man, right? We care about that. We care about celebrating his holy days like Christmas. We care about celebrating 4th of July when your black ass was a slave and there wasn't no freedom for you, right? That's what we care about as a people. We care about all the customs of the heathens. But you don't care about what you come from. You don't care about your own customs. We got Passover coming up, right? Passover is our custom. They're our traditions. They belong to us. But why don't we know about it? Because the Most High said that He kicked us out as his wife. He has kicked us out from being inside His home. That's why we don't know about these customs anymore. So we now are being caught with other lovers. Verse 13. Then I saw that she was defiled, that they took both one way. So the Most High said, man, my people are completely defiled. They are drunk off of philosophies. They are high off of drugs. We are just out of our goddamn mind. The brothers inside the damn middle of the damn train tracks dancing. What other group of people do this? We are burnt out as a people. Let's read on. Verse 13, then I saw that she was defiled, that they took both one way. Verse 14, and that she increased her whoredom. But for when she saw men portrayed upon the wall, the images of the Chaldeans portrayed with vermilion. So when we saw the images of Caesar Borgia, right? When we saw the images of this white Jesus, right? We fell in love with it. We was like, oh, that's my God. That's my sweet Jesus, right? That's what we said as a people. And we took that sweet Jesus into our heart, into our mind. Where now that you tell a brother or a sister that Christ is a so-called black man, they don't want to hear it. You got to show them proof. But you look at the picture or whatnot, and it says, Jesus Christos de Blanco. They love that. They love that white image, that white Jesus, right? That's what the Bible is talking about right now. And when her sisters, Holibah, saw verse 14, and that she increased her whoredom. For when she saw men portrayed upon the wall, the images of the Chaldeans portrayed with vermilion, right? That's a red color dye, a red color outfit, right? Verse 15, girded with girdles upon their loins, exceeding in dyed attire upon their heads, all of them princes to look to, after the manner of the Babylonians of Chaldea, the land of their nativity. Right, let's read on. Verse 16. And as soon as she saw them with her eyes, she dotted upon them and sent messengers unto them, unto Chaldea. Verse 17. So when she saw this, right, she sent messengers to say, can you search out these men? Can you bring these men to me so I can lay with them in the bed? Right? What's going on, sister?
How are you, my brother?
You got a second for the Lord? Just give me 1 second. 1 second. Come here, sister. Come here, sister. Real quick. Where's your bus at? Here, let me give you a flyer. Are you on YouTube?
I'm trying to keep my program low key.
Can I give you a flyer?
I can't tell. I'm 65.
Okay, right. But in 65 years, have you ever heard that you are Israelite according to the Bible? You're 65 years of life? Okay, so check this out right here. So how did our people get here? So how did our people get over here? How did we get to? Okay, so let me give you a quick verse. This is Deuteronomy chapter 28. This book of Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 68, the classic. This says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again. Egypt is synonymous with slavery, right? It says, again, with ships. The so-called black man, black woman, we got here on cargo slave ships. This is prophesied in the Bible right here, how we will get here. It says, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. We're not going to see our homeland again. We have never seen Israel again, where we're from. It says, and there ye shall be sold unto your enemies. In America, we were sold to the so-called European, the so-called British, the so-called Spaniard. We were sold to our enemies as a people, right? It says, for bondmen, for slave man, and bond women, slave women. And no man shall buy you, meaning nobody's going to redeem us out of this captivity as a people, right? So we went into captivity for breaking the law, statutes, and commandments. Now let me ask you a quick question. Do you eat pork at all?
I'm healthy.
Do you eat pork?
I'm healthy.
What do you mean by healthy? I mean, they're healthy.
Too personal. I'm healthy.
You're healthy. Well, let me show you something real quick. If you eat pork, let me show you something if you eat pork. Because the reason why we went into captivity is for breaking laws, statutes, and commandments. One of them being eating pork. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 11, and verse 7. And the swine, so the swine is pig, right? It says, though he divided the hoof and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. So the pig is an unclean animal. We're not supposed to touch it or eat it. So pepperoni, bacon, ham, sausage, we can't eat it as a people. Now there are substitutes like turkey bacon, beef bacon, and things of that nature, but the pork, we can't eat that no more, sister. It says, of their flesh shall you not eat, and their carcass shall you not touch. They are unclean to you. So we can't even touch the pig because it's an unclean animal. Now, you say you eat healthy. Do you eat like fish?
I'm healthy.
Okay, well check this out, sister.
I'm gonna keep saying that.
All right, because you're being very, very vague. But the word is going to go out. This is Leviticus chapter 11 and verse 9. These shall ye eat of all that are in the waters, whatsoever have fins and scales in the waters. So if you eat fish, it has to have fins and scales. So we can't eat no catfish. We can't eat no crabs. We can't eat no shrimp. We can't eat none of that stuff right there because it doesn't have fins and scales. Octopus, calamari, all that stuff. It says, all that have not fins and scales in the seas and in the rivers, of all that move in the waters, and of any living thing which is in the waters, they shall be an abomination unto you. So we can't eat none of that stuff. If you look at this sign right here, this is a picture of a cockroach and a shrimp. A cockroach has the same biological makeup as a shrimp does. It keeps the bottom of the ocean clean. So we're not supposed to eat that because it's the vacuum cleaner for the ocean. So we can't eat that as a group of people, right? Let me show you something about, let me show you some laws concerning with women. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22. Actually, I'm going to start with, I'm going to go to 1 Timothy first. So check this out, sister. So as a daughter of Zion, because you will be an Israelite according to the Bible, this is, so this is This is 1 Timothy chapter 3.
There you go.
And verse, let me see. In verse, so like it. Yeah, my phone is going. Let's see. Okay. It's 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 9. And it says, in like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel. So our sisters, we have to wear modest apparel as sisters, right? It says, with shamefaced and sobriety, not with broidered hair or gold or pearls or costly array. So our sisters, y'all are daughters of Zion, right? So you have to wear modest apparel. Check this out right here. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 5. And it reads, the woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto the man. So nowadays, women wear clothing that pertains to a man. And what is clothing that women wear that pertains to men?
I have the right to remain silent.
Well, pants. There'll be pants, right?
Wait a minute. I have the right to remain silent. I'm listening.
Right. There'll be pants.
Again.
There'll be pants. It
Just
says
keep talking and teaching, my brother. Next time I ask you what about the cigarette smoker.
cigarette smoking.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's unhealthy because when
I'll cover
you
that right now.
smoke cigarettes, you inhaling that stuff.
Yeah, I'll cover that right now.
The food and everything.
Let me finish this verse and I'll cover that right now. It says, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. So a man can't put on a dress. If I was up here teaching in a dress, you're like, that's weird, that's strange. You probably wouldn't listen to me. You're like, it's a brother up here, you know, teaching with a damn skirt on, mini skirt on. So it says, shall put on a woman's garment, for all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God. So let's see about smoking. Let's go to the book of 1 Corinthians. Because your body is actually a temple. It's the holy temple. This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 3. And we'll start at verse 16. It says, know ye not that ye are the temple of God. So our temple, it belongs to the Most High. We're just renting it out. We're leasing it right now. We don't own this body. It says, and that the Spirit of the Most High dwelleth in you. So the Spirit of the Most High dwells in our body, right? It says, if any man defile the temple of the Most High, him shall the Most High destroy. For the temple of the Most High is holy, which temple you are. So when brothers and sisters start smoking cigarettes, start smoking weed and stuff, putting all those cartridges in their body, we're defiling the temple of the Most High. And the Most High can't dwell in an unclean temple. So we, as a people, we gotta put that stuff away. That's what the so-called white man gave us, to smoke, so we can destroy ourselves and get further and further away from the Most High. Because if we remain in sin, what happens? We can't get closer to the Most High. Sin is transgression of the law. It's breaking the Most High's law. We don't know the law, so we don't know what to keep as a people. So our people ignorantly smoke cigarettes and smoke marijuana and do fentanyl and crack and all that type of stuff because we don't know not to do that type of stuff as a people. Does that make sense?
I don't know how to say no.
Huh?
I don't know how to say no.
You got to fight it.
Yeah.
It's a temptation.
Yeah. And
you got to fight
talk
it.
to those who's ignorant of these things.
Let me show you. Let me show you something because the Most High will forgive you for that. This is the book of Acts. This is the book of Acts, chapter 3, and verse.
Over there, bro.
This is Acts chapter 3, and
yeah, they out there too with their ministry.
this is we're the same people. This is Acts chapter 3 and verse 19. Repent ye therefore and be converted. So we have to repent of the things that we are doing. And being converted means you change your ways. Meaning that if you were once at one point in time doing something, don't do it anymore. Give it up.
Or acknowledge
it, right.
Set yourself free from that nonsense.
Exactly.
You know, because if you don't, it'll just build up.
It'll consume you.
Build up. How can you teach me something when you're still doing it?
Still doing it, right. It'll consume us.
It don't make no freaking sense.
Right, like for instance, myself, I have tattoos. It is against the Most High's law to have tattoos. When I found out that was Most High's, I was breaking the Most High's law, I stopped getting tattoos. I didn't get no more tattoos, and I repented from it. And I asked the Most High for forgiveness, because this is the Most High's holy temple that we're dwelling in, right? So verse 19, it says, repent ye therefore and be converted, that your sins may be blotted out. So if we repent and we convert ourselves by no longer doing it, the Most High said he will blot out our sins. He won't remember them anymore. It says, when the time of refreshing shall come from the presence of the Most High. So yeah, it's a fight, you know, but anything worth having, we have to actually fight for it. And what's worth having is the kingdom of heaven. In order to get to the kingdom of heaven, that's a very narrow road. There's going to be temptations on each side. There's going to be a temptation here, a temptation there. But if we have our eyesight,
it starts with ourselves. It starts with ourselves. We are the temptation. We are. We got to look at ourselves.
We have to look at ourselves, right?
It starts here.
Right, we have to examine ourselves. Right, we have to examine ourselves.
The baby, being conceived with the baby, that seed, when that man planted that seed, that's where it all starts.
Right, it starts with ourselves. Yeah. So if we want the kingdom of heaven, what we have to do as a people is we have to put our mindset and focus on that and know that it's a narrow path. A narrow path. Check this out, right? This is the book of 2nd Ezra. Alright, yeah, brother. Alright, brother, take it easy. Let me see, this is the book of.
And then it still depends on how you raise that child, because this isn't a perfect good example. My brother was an atheist. He didn't realize that there was a God till God snatched his oldest son away. He was only 17 years old, drug related, mixed up with some Chinese, Japanese stuff. I'll be freaking 75 years old when I get a chance to be with any of my kids. The child he took from this other family, she's about 10. She'd be like, when she'd be 15, I'll be 75. And I can relate to what you're saying, and I can understand. Who are we to judge? Like you said, this is our body, this is our temple, and things. And we're all put on this earth for a purpose. Right. For a purpose. And at the same time, to make a long story short, I kept telling him that it's something that you're doing. It's a pattern, because there's only 3 females that died. And there was only 2 young females. Their boyfriends got killed. Right. So I saw that. When I stepped into the whole scene, I felt like a stranger. I felt weird. Everybody sitting at the table. I felt out of place. The time zone was all off, and I got in and got out. Right. Definitely. But I could feel I could go on with this chapter. What you said is the most. Yeah, it's the most high. It's the most high. He'll do things. He'll put things in front of us to check ourselves out. He'll knock us down. He'll take things away from us. Yes. And things of that nature. But as of today, sure, I still think about my nephew. He's probably 20-something years old. Fine little young thing, but we got to teach these young men and young women the things of that nature. Yeah, it's a wake-up. What we put into our bodies, our temples, and things of that nature. How we dress, how we conduct ourselves, how we present ourselves to that king, to that man we want to have for our husband, and stuff like that, and so on and so forth.
Listen to this real quick, sister. This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 7. It says, the entrance thereof is narrow, and is set in a dangerous place to fall. So the entrance to the kingdom of heaven is a narrow road to get there. It's not this wide road you can get there by any way. You can't get there by Islam or Christianity, anything of that nature, right? Okay, sister, you'll be an Israelite according to the Bible.
Likewise.
Right?
Take care. Nice to meet you. Be safe.
All right, you too, sister.
Likewise. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, let's get back to the word. Okay, so back to the word. This is the book of Ezekiel chapter 23, and we are verse 18. So she discovered her whoredoms and discovered her nakedness. Then my mind was alienated from her. So you see that the Most High has alienated himself from us. He has completely cut himself off from us as a people. This is why we don't know that today is the Sabbath day, right? Not Sunday. This is why we don't know that we have a high holy day, the Passover, coming up. We think our high holy day is Easter. Let me ask you something, brother. Do bunnies lay eggs? No. So why do our people do Easter egg hunting? That's foolishness. We got grown men and women thinking bunnies lay eggs.
Misled.
Misled, right? Exactly. That's because we have alienated ourselves from the Most High. Yeah. Let me read on. It says, so she discovered her whoredoms and discovered her nakedness. Then my mind was alienated from her, like as my mind was alienated from her sister. Verse 19. Verse 19. So she discovered, verse 19, yet she multiplied her whoredom. So us as a people, we keep on multiplying our sins. We don't stop. We don't stop cheating on the Most High. we keep on remaining to be adulterers of the Most High by celebrating these pagan holidays. We remain adulterers by the Most High by not keeping the Sabbath day. We remain adulterers to the Most High by not coming back to our nationality, by saying that we are blacks, by saying that we are African American. African American is the name of two white men, Leo Scipios Africanus and Americo Vespucci. So how can you possibly be an African American? I was born in the 1980s. That term African American came about in 1986. How is it that I'm older than my nationality, my so-called nationality? That term was created by Jesse Jackson in the 80s. Before that, we were called Afro-American. But what if I don't got an Afro? How can I be an Afro-American? Before that, we were called Negro. Before that, we were called colored. Every 10 years, our nationality, our identity changed. Have we ever asked ourselves, why is that so? Why is that you can go to a so-called white man and he can tell you, hey, I'm Italian, I'm German, I'm French, I'm whatever it may be. But ourselves, we don't know who we are, and we don't care who we are. Check this out right here. This is the book of Isaiah. This is the book of Isaiah. Chapter 1 and verse 3. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. So the ox is a dumb animal, right? But guess what? The ox knows who his owner is, right? The ass is a donkey. He knows how to get back home to his crib, right? Let me read on. It says, but Israel, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you are Israel. It says, but Israel doth not know. My people doth not consider. Like, we don't even care who we are. We don't care to look up our heritage, to see who we are as a people. Hey, go get this. I got a flyer for you, brother. Get that brother a flyer right now. We don't even care to know who we are as a people. I'm gonna go to the book of Jeremiah. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 17. And verse 4. I'm on YouTube. I'm on YouTube. Just look up, type in disciples of Yahweh Shai, and you'll see it on there. It says, Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 4. And thou, even thyself, shall discontinue from thine heritage. So us as a people, we have discontinued from our heritage. We don't know what we're supposed to be doing as a people. We think our heritage is